Mm. Hey fam, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Welcome to Plathville. This is season 7, episode 4, The Proposal. Oh, y'all, I'm about to get on screen. My signal, I think, is about to act right. When I say that Ethan Plath, you're an ass, I mean that with every fiber in my being. The last few minutes of this episode were him really revealing his hand. His issue with Zach is that he thinks that Zach is gay. That's what his issue is. That's why he asks him at the end what he asks him. It's because he thinks that Zach is gay. And for him to treat him the way that he has treated him, as well as some of the other brothers, they're trying to use the excuse of, oh, they've only known each other for a short time, when it's not even that. What it really is that you all have a problem with the fact that you think that this man is a homosexual. And I just can't get with it. I wrote at the top of my notes, y'all, I was so angry. When I write in blue, that's me being angry. I said, your actions were that of a toddler on your sister's special day. It is extremely infuriating to see the way that you treat the person that your sister loves. What's even more bothersome to me is that your loved ones sit around and watch you do it. An engagement day is not a day that you utilize to test someone or to question someone or to make a moment that is supposed to be about your sister about you. Ethan and his family are jerks. The entire family is selfish. And I hope that Lydia gets as far as possible away from these people. Matter of fact, I wouldn't mind if you make Welcome to Plathville more about Lydia and her friends, because this episode really ticked me off, and I feel like it's just going to get worse. But do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into it. So we begin the episode with Lydia thinking that she's going out for dinner. Okay, full honesty here. Part of me feels like she knew something was going on because they were color coordinating. His tie was the same color as her shirt, number one. Number two, I do not recall Lydia taking so much time with her appearance on prior outings when it comes to her and her dad. Like, she had the wand curls going on and the makeup and the beautiful jewelry. She looked very well put together. She looked pretty. And she always looks pretty, but there was something a little different here. Like, she was a little bit too, ready for the occasion to me. But that's just me. Y'all put down below if you think she knew or not. So apparently her father called her the other day talking about, how once she gets married, there's going to be a little bit of time for them to hang out with each other. And he just wants to cherish the time that he has left. So he wants them to go out to eat together. So she's thinking that Zach is in Colorado away for at a friend's going away party. She has no idea that he flew in that day for this proposal, and he is currently with her family at the cabin. So this is Micah's first time meeting Zach. Keep that in mind. You've never met this guy, yet you all have all these opinions about these people. So many opinions. It is insane to me. And I'm saying this as someone who have siblings and understands that I don't always meet the people that my siblings date. It may be like with my brother. I didn't meet his girlfriend until well after she was pregnant. I mean, this is just the truth of the matter. That happens sometimes. And I didn't formulate any preconceived notions about her just because of what other people were saying. I formulated my own opinion. So at first I thought, okay, Micah's going to be nice to him because Micah seemed friendly. He shook his hands. And then I was like, no, he's not, because Micah and the rest of them feed off the Ethan. And the first thing he says is that he's interesting. The man is smiling at you. He may be a little funny looking, you know. I don't find Zach to be attractive, but Zach may not find me to be attractive. Let me put that out there. You don't got to tell me. I know. With that being said, he is saying that, you know, he's very particular about everything. They make these little underhanded comments that try to make it seem like they're saying one thing when that's not really what they're saying. Even with Veronica later on referring to him as a bridezilla, there's tones there that let you know like y'all are trying to allude to something, and I don't like it. I think it's too much. It's too heavy. So you're saying that he's so particular about everything. And I just can't help but think, why wouldn't he be? Because it's his proposal. You guys, I remember, and this was several years ago, before the pandemic, my cousin proposed to his girlfriend. And we all knew that it was happening because people from afar came to the proposal, both her family and our family. And when I say it was getting to the point where like a couple weeks before that, she had kind of cornered his then girlfriend, kind of cornered my female cousin and was like, I don't know how much longer I can continue to date your brother with not having a ring on my finger. And I love him so much and all these other things. When that whole time, like 6 months prior, he'd already planned to propose to her and she just needed to hold on for a couple more weeks because everybody was flying in for the proposal. When I say that I've seen proposals that have been out there to the point where his brother and sister were digging holes in the sand to put candles out there and there was flower petals to lead her pathway to said beach for the setup with the music and everything, and she didn't know that all of us were on the boardwalk witnessing it. And then when she came back to the boardwalk, she saw all of us, and then after that we went to PF Chang's to go celebrate. Like, this is what happens. These are my other friend that got engaged a year ago. She's now married. It was another big to do. She thought they were having a housewarming. Little did she know her now husband had a whole setup in their backyard where we all had all these roses, and it was a lot of us in the backyard. Way more than that. It was probably about like maybe 40 or 50 of us that ended up coming to this thing. And you're over here acting like this proposal was so over the top when it really wasn't. What he did was he did this because he knew it was something that the person that he wants to marry would like. And I'm going to be honest with me, with not with me, with you all. I'm always honest with me. Zach won me over in this episode as well as listening, and I still haven't listened to all of it because it was two different podcasts, as well as listening to his interview with Ginger Duggar. There was something that seemed very sincere about him, and I kind of understood his background a little bit more when he spoke up there, and I kind of see why he's the way he is. And some of you all put it in the comment section, like the way Zach is the way a lot of people or young men from his area are. So I think that's something to take into consideration, like demographics and stuff like that. But let me stop rambling. So he walks straight over, shakes his hand. Veronica gives him a hug. And Zach is just happy that her friends and family are going to be there. He's all smiles, as he always is. And I think Micah's like, so what's the plan? So he's filling them in on the plan. And while he's filling them in on the plan, it seems to me like the only person that's really listening is Kim, because he's telling them, like, you know, Barry and Lydia are going to pull up, and I want the family to be over here in between the trees, and I'm going to have these flowers, and I want you all to be holding the flowers. And as he's talking, you got Ethan to the side calling him a freaking idiot, calling him pushy, and says that he's telling them what to do. Ethan is looking for any reason to have a problem with this young man. You are a spectator. He is not being pushy. If you think that's pushy, you'd hate to see what goes on in my family. All he's doing is trying to make sure that this is everything that she would want it to be. So Micah and Ethan proceed to act like jerks. You got Micah rolling down a hill. You got Ethan who keeps calling him an idiot. Then you got Ethan who decides to act like, I don't know, a teenager, and he's lighting pine needles and stuff on fire as Kim tries to get him to stop and asks him to utilize the fire pit. Then between him or Micah, one of them toss a chair in the water, and Tegan, the enabler, says she doesn't think Ethan meant anything by it. Ethan has really found the perfect woman for him. Because everything that he does, Tegan acts like there's nothing wrong with it. And Tegan, I'm getting a feel of who it is that you are. Because you don't see anything wrong with the way that this grown behind man is acting right before his sister is about to be proposed to. I don't know why my signal acts up this time of night. Anyways, so Tegan is like, he wasn't trying to sabotage or ruin anything. He was just blowing off steam. If that was the case, then he should have taken a walk. But what was there for him to be upset about that he needed to blow off steam? He then lights another fire, and this time he decides to light that fire right where Zach is planning on proposing to Lydia. The very area that he just said earlier that he wanted to propose on, because he kept saying he wanted to propose at the peninsula. So you knew that he wanted to propose there. Zach calls him out on it, and he's like, are you doing this intentionally? He's like, could you please put it out? Put the fire out. And Ethan says, no. Then Ethan goes as far as telling him to put it out himself. And he walks off and tells him as he's walking off to F off. Ethan would have been in that water. The way that I would have pushed Ethan in that water, because Ethan thinks that he's all big and bad because his siblings have him feeling like he's all big and bad. But Ethan, I know your type. Most of the time, the people who do like this, the people who run their mouth the most are the ones that when it comes time to fight, y'all can't fight. I've seen it too many times. I've seen too many times where people who run their mouth or people who act like Ethan, which I'm going to call him a bully, like bullies, get dealt with by quiet people that look and act like Zach. Because you think that you can push him around when you shouldn't. They do not respect Lydia. I already know they don't respect Zach. But they really don't respect their sister because of the way that they're treating this young man who at this point has done nothing wrong to them. Whether they agree with the timeline or not is irrelevant. You're treating this young man wrong on so many levels, and it's all because of what you ask him later on at the end. Y'all tell me what you think, because I really think that's what it is. So Ethan then lies to us and says he was just trying to trim the grass. That's why he was lighting it on fire. All this is going on, and Kim is acting like she's panicking, but then she's laughing, but then she's like, this is just his way of testing Zach, and maybe they're trying to haze him. Haze him for what? Isn't hazing illegal? Haze him for what? Come on. So after he's the one who threw a tantrum and threw the stick down and said all the things he says, Ethan's over there talking crap about Zach to Micah, saying that he feels like Zach is going to have a real temper. I said, oh, so this is what Olivia's talking about. Because how did you flip that like that? When Zach was the most patient person I know, I'm going to tell you like this. Had that been my man and you would have done the first thing that you tried to do, he would have told you to go. And if you wouldn't have left, he would have escorted you out. You yeah, I can't. You're the dummy who's been dropping F-bombs and gaslighting this whole situation. So then you got Veronica jumping in and saying that she doesn't like how he's treating people and she thinks they should frazzle him some more. And that he's acting like he's a celebrity or something because the boys wanted to talk to him and he acts, rather than it being before he's about to propose to the girl, to after. Let's be clear. He asked permission from the one person that she wanted him to, which was her dad. So really, as a sibling, would you like to feel like your opinion matters? Of course. But at the end of the day, as someone who in the past dated someone and got engaged to someone that her sibling didn't like, you going to do what you're going to do. I'm speaking for myself here. That is me. My brother did not like my fiance in the slightest, and I had to learn the hard way. He expressed his opinion, and he left it at that. All that other stuff that they're doing here, that didn't happen. And just so you know, no, we didn't get married. Thank God for marriage counseling. Anyways, premarital counseling. So they want to question him, and they want to give him hell. Okay. So Tegan, of course, understands that as well because they're older brothers and they just want to look after their sister. So the Plaths and some of the friends arrive, her roommate arrives, and the premarital counselors that have been counseling them, a husband and wife, arrive. Mariah is supposed to be there, but she's busy getting her liquid courage at a local restaurant because she struggles with confrontation. She claims that she's in the best place that she's been in a long time when it comes to her family, but she has not really talked to Micah or Veronica, and that she's going to be moving to Montana to live by herself with herself and her dog in a month. In my opinion, she's running away from things, and she kind of verifies it later on. So we go from Micah and Ethan and Veronica being jerks to then Isaac being a jerk because Isaac and his girlfriend come and they're acting like they've never seen big proposals before. Isaac even goes as far as saying that, what is this, a redneck proposal or something like that? He said he doesn't get why all those people are there. I already told y'all, I'm accustomed to big proposals. So I don't understand why these people are acting like it's not a common thing to have an audience. Some people have an audience, some people do it one-on-one. They obviously had various conversations about it, and it was expressed to him that she wanted her family to be there because he could have easily had done this, as he said, at his hometown. But he knew what it meant to her to have her people there. So he did it around these people who really don't seem that supportive, in my opinion. So Barry tells Lydia that Kim forgot to put some towels, in the cabin or whatever. So they got to head over there to do that or get them or whatever, something with some towels. While en route, Lydia tells us about how challenging it's going to be for her to be so far away from her family once she and Zach get married. And I wonder if she still feels that way after seeing these, because I've seen some stuff that was put out on Facebook by her about how hurtful the people are being in the comment section, and these are people who don't know her. So how is she going to feel when she sees the things that her family, that her brothers are saying? I think that they're forgetting that aspect of it. They're so worried about Zach hurting her when truly they are the ones that are hurting her. Lydia said it in her interview with Ginger that Zach is the first person that ever made her feel like her opinion mattered. Do y'all know how deep that is for that young lady to have to be 20 years old? And that's the first time she realized her opinion mattered. He saw her in a different way, which is why she gravitated towards him so quickly. So Mariah finally arrives and she hugs Micah. She says when it comes to Veronica, she sometimes hurt people and it makes her run away and not be close to anybody. But today she's here for her sister, which goes back to why she's probably going to Montana, because it's away from everybody. I want her not to run away. I want her to address her issues, and I want her to do it with the help of a therapist. There is so much more going on with that young lady. I understand she has alopecia and things of that nature, but she doesn't look healthy right now. And stress affects that. And I'm sure all of this stuff stresses her out, because how many scenes have we seen her in at this point? So Veronica goes the opposite route. It was suggested that Veronica, you look stupid when you did this. I called her Moronica like she's a moron. My bad. Veronica, you look stupid when you did this. Because what she did was she was told to show up in church attire. So she had on sweats, and under the sweats, she had on like her shimmery disco looking party dress that was black and silver. And she's being all dramatic while taking it off. And Zach just looks and shake his head. And I like that one of the other sisters was like, yeah, that didn't I think it was Amber. She was like, yeah, that kind of fell flat because nobody was even paying attention to it. And I'm glad they didn't. Because Veronica, you like to talk about this family and their dysfunction, you're dysfunctional as well. So they are told that Lydia is 5 minutes out. Next thing you know, all these different people are running to the bathroom, and he's like trying to take a breath. I'm sure he was probably sitting at that water edge praying that they didn't mess this thing up for them. So Barry and Lydia pull up. She immediately notices Micah's truck. Like she's like, that's Micah's truck. She steps out and she sees Micah and Veronica. Then she sees some friends. Then she sees Zach and he's smiling, and she knows exactly what this is now when she sees Zach. So she's hugging her brothers. And as she's hugging her brothers, oh, I feel myself getting choked up. She's saying, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I said, Lydia hugged every single person that was standing out there and thanked them for coming. See, they like to act like when they came to our screens that they were this religious family. And truly, and I've said this before, whether you believe in a higher power or not, in my opinion, the best way to show that you're religious is to operate from love. If everyone, whether you're, matter of fact, whether you're religious or not, if you operate from love, imagine how better this world would be. And what I see with Lydia is I see a person that operates from love, because they all tried to make this moment so awful. And in that moment, when she came out, even though I thought she knew that there was going to be a proposal, when she came out, I could feel that for the first time in a long time, with them being there, that she felt loved. And it was something that I don't think she got a lot of growing up. So it made me tear up a little bit. So she's running to, like, she's walking to him really fast with her arms stretched out. Y'all can't see my arms. Her arms are stretched out like this, and she hugs him, and they're holding on to each other for a while. And she's crying, and he like spins her around and he says, Lydia Joy Plath, I could say everything right now, but I'm going to keep it simple. You are the love of my life, and you are so special to me. I've been so blessed with the joy of knowing you. And he gets down and he says, Lydia Joy Plath, would you marry me? And he pulls out the ring. And as she's like head to head with him, you have Ethan saying behind them, please say no. Then he says, oh God, she's going to say yes. Ethan, I wonder if that's what Olivia's parents thought when you proposed. I really do. Because I don't know what happened where you feel like you were just, oh, like you're the cat's meow. But when you first appeared on our screens, you were a dweeb. Like, we're gonna call, we like you deserve this treatment today. And I'm one of those people who, I don't really like to do a whole bunch of name calling and stuff like that, but you were a dweeb. You came up here looking like the Caucasian version of Steve Urkel if you ever watched Family Matters. That is what you look like. You were a dweeb. You still are a dweeb. Just because you put on a little bit of weight and a beard doesn't change the fact that you're a dweeb and you're a jerk. And I see you for who you are. I see it. Olivia was not lying. There's a lot of tones there. There's a lot of undertones that let me know that she was not lying about you, Ethan. She wasn't. And I just, ooh, every time I see you on my screen, I get an attitude. I get an attitude. So, despite Ethan's whispers, because she doesn't hear it, she says yes. And the people who seem the happiest for her are the people who've known her for the least amount of time, because it's her, the counselor and the friends that are the first to kind of hug her and stuff. And then of course her parents and stuff are happier for her. So Barry and Kim are happy for them. Kim points out how much work the wedding is going to be if the proposal took all this. Kim, what did you plan other than to pick the boy up probably from the airport? What took so much out of you? He's the one who was telling everybody what to do. So, Lydia is hugging people and she hugs Ethan and she says, I know it's hard for you, but thank you for being here. Once again, Lydia is such a nice person. And I wonder how she feels after seeing all of this. So Mariah hugs her and everything and then leaves right after the proposal because she doesn't want to face anybody. Lydia is then asking her little sisters to be bridesmaids while Veronica is walking around in her disco dress, mad, looking for a signal so she can call and talk crap. She feels like the family is acting like they didn't treat her like crap. What were they supposed to do? Address it with you now at this proposal? No, it wasn't about you. They weren't going to address it either way, but I know you didn't think they were going to do it at this proposal. So she's like, well, I know someone else who was treated like crap. So she proceeds to FaceTime Olivia. It's been 8 months since she's talked to the family. She says the family consists, they're like high school. They consist of brainless jocks, nerds, etc. Then at the very, very bottom is her and Olivia. I don't understand what the point of all that was. And Veronica, you're not family. You're dating one of their sons. Now, Olivia could be deemed as family because she's still married to the son, but you are not family. 2 hours later, Mike and Ethan decide to talk to Zach because Barry didn't grill him enough for them. Ethan says he doesn't feel like it's divine. He feels like, along with Micah, that it's just a crush. He feels like Lydia doesn't know him. These people are so judgmental. Like, these men have this great track record when it comes to relationships. Micah, you're currently not with Veronica, and you cheated a whole bunch on her. Ethan, we saw what your relationship with Olivia looked like. Y'all were struggling from season 1 before y'all were even a year into your marriage. Then on top of that, you're still married to Olivia and you're dating Tegan. You have no room to give anybody any type of advice. On top of that, they're trying to act like they're doing this because of what happened to Mariah and people broke Mariah. No, you people broke Mariah. Your family did that to her by not preparing her for the real world and by enabling her. The difference here is that Lydia actually has seemed to taken a little bit of time to get to know this young man. Even though it has been a short time, he probably knows more about her in 4 months than you all have known about one another in all these years. She said it herself last week when she was talking to Ethan. Y'all don't know me. So if you don't know her, how can you say whether or not that this guy is right for her? So Zach arrives with good energy. Micah tells him, like, look, she obviously, you make her happy. If I find out that you hurt her or let her down, there's going to be consequences. Okay, I'm not surprised by that. Big brothers, any brothers, say what they're going to say. I've heard some of those conversations myself. Ethan expresses himself again about having problem with how fast this is being done. Do I get it? I completely understand it. I do. because I think that they're moving too quickly too. But I also remember that there are relationships that have short courtships that have last for decades. So who am I to say? I just hope that it works out for them, is my final thoughts on it. So he says he doesn't want his sister to be hurt. He doesn't feel like they spent a lot of time together. Where he says, yeah, we have spent a lot of time together because for us, a week basically feels like a month. And I get it. And the only reason why it clicked to me is because I remember my freshman year at the time. This is me telling on myself. But before I left for college, I was dating a guy, right? My senior year, it was heavily monitored. I was only allowed to go out on group dates, yada, yada, yo. I go away from college and I met another guy like my third day at the school. My boyfriend and I did not live in the same uh city. We were doing long distance. It was 2.5 hours away from each other. And I was hanging out with this guy so much that I stayed on the second floor. He stayed on the seventh floor. And I was hanging out with him so much that I was emotionally cheating on my boyfriend without doing anything, without kissing or anything like that. We were just really, really enjoying each other's company. And guess what ended up happening? I ended up breaking up with my boyfriend like a month into school because of how connected I felt to this person. And we did end up dating afterwards for a long time. My point is that when you're in certain surroundings or when you have certain interactions or when you connect like they did spiritually, I can understand why for them it feels like it's so much deeper. And I think that they probably had talks and discussions and things of that nature that I don't think Ethan ever had with Olivia or Tegan for that matter. So I get it. So they then ask about his job because they want to know his drive. And he says he's currently a tennis coach. Now, that I was a little surprised about, but here's the thing that was revealed on the interview. Um, Not only does Lydia get a check from here, from Welcome to Plathville, but she also works because he used to say, like, she said that when they first started talking to each other, he couldn't understand how she was able to do all this traveling and stuff because he was unaware of the show. He didn't know about the show until well into them dealing with one another. And so when he's saying that he's a tennis coach and he really wants to stick with coaching, I completely believe him. He also says that he would love, his dream would be to own his own coffee shop. That's fine. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. So they then ask him what he feels with Lydia. So he says with Lydia, he feels confidence. Now, I thought he was going to say like love or something like that, but he said confidence. And they're immediately judging the answer. Ethan can't understand it. So he basically like, look, I don't understand how you're able to like wait to kiss her. Like, I don't get how you haven't wanted to kiss her. So Zach's like, I moved this way to honor her. He says, I'm very, I'm very into my faith and I've kissed somebody before and I use my faith to control myself. Like that's my way of self-control. And he's like, okay. Ethan says, okay, well, do you have passion for her? Do you want to kiss her? So he's like, of course, but I don't want it to be a thing where physical intimacy gets in the way of getting to know her. So Ethan is acting like he can't understand it when I get it. Is that my thing? No, I already told y'all. At some point, I'm gonna have to sample the goods, and it's gonna be before marriage. Well, I'm gonna have to get a little kissy kissy to see. So as he's talking, I was like, okay, so I guess he's never met a Duggar, and I guess him and Olivia did things before marriage because you're acting like a kiss is just this big, like a big thing. So maybe they did a lot of that. He then at the end asked Zach if he's gay. And I said, that's what the whole issue is for him. Bottom line is he thinks he's gay. And that's why he's treating him the way he's treating him. Y'all, this episode really, really ticked me off. Like, I was so upset with the whole thing because I just can't understand why they think that it's okay to treat anyone like this. It's not right. Even if they think that he is bisexual or whatever it is that they think he is, that's not an excuse to treat him like that. He's marrying your sister. And whether you like it or not, she's going to do it. And I hope she gets so far away from them that she just like pays them dust. Cuz Lydia seems like she's a really really good person. Anyways, that's all I have. If there's something that I missed that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. Do me a favor because it really really helps me in the algorithm. I did this on Saturday with my Love and Marriage Huntsville review. I asked people to please like the video. Like, that's all you got to do. Like or comment. Pick. If you don't like it, make a comment about why you didn't like it. Because when I say that off of that review that I normally do, that it's like double the views because I requested for people to like it and more people liked it, that's a great way to help me. Like a great free way to help me. So if you don't mind, like the video. I'm on the road to 3,000 and I hope to get there sooner than later. Until next time.